Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
We're separate. Once again, Dan, we're separate, divided by a city.
I know, but divided by the River X.
Divided by the River X and by coronavirus.
Yeah.
So I'm on
Bloody
the opposite.
coronavirus.
It's got us again. So apologies, listeners. You won't get our normal high-energy repartee of wit and banter and, you know...
It'll be a kind of facsimile of that, you know, like... I mean, who would... It's going to sound all kind of low budget and a bit shit, but, you know, whatever.
Mainly we're doing it because we feel bad for other podcasts who can't have our kind of crystal clear clarity the rest of the time. So, we're down here with the rest of you just this time. You know, if you listen to some of those other teams from League Two's podcasts, you'll perhaps recognise this low audio quality. Anyway, apologies for that. And also mainly apologies, because we were too quick off the draw last week. We came to you with a tale of triumph over an idiot in a white coat, and turns out we were the idiots, and we needed the men in white coats because we'd made more substitutions than we needed to.
Well, yeah, but I'm not sure we go down as idiots in this scenario, So yeah, we just did it straight away after that match. So how could we foresee that this was going to happen? So basically, that match has now been kind of expunged.
It's a good word, isn't it? Expunged.
Yeah, brilliant. But it has and it hasn't. I mean, the match itself has, but some of the things within the match very much not expunged, as in Leanne's red card still stands.
Yep.
And so do the goals, I think. So Matt J or whoever scored.
Oh, really? Still counts as a goal, does it?
I think so, yeah. But I mean, I could be wrong. Been wrong before. But anyway, so I think what it seemed like to happen to me, and I don't know, it's very complicated, really, is that I think the reason we got away with it is because I think the ref or the ref's team had basically told the managers before that this was what they were allowed to do. So they said they could make 5 substitutions and you can make an extra one in if it goes to extra time, right? Yeah. Which isn't the rules. Just not. You can only make an extra one if it's a concussion substitution. Now, there's obviously just so many kind of like different rules for different competitions, and this one you allowed this many, and this one you allowed this many, and the World Cup was different, and so I mean, whatever. I don't blame them. They're not exactly like paid, to be. Well, they are literally. It's their job to know the rules, but it's complicated. So I think because they told us we could do it, we got away with it.
But didn't a specific error come when Bradford were about to put on their 6th sub, and for whatever reason, the assistant referee had realised by this point and told them not to?
He hadn't realised. What he'd done is got confused with another wrong bit of rules, which is you're only allowed to make 4 interruptions, which they'd already made. So you can make any kind of substitutions if they're at half-time or if they're at full-time, if it's going to extra time, like we did with Josh Key, so that wasn't interrupting play. So they'd already used up their interruptions, which is why they weren't then allowed to make their 6th substitution, because it was in the middle of kind of play of extra time. So obviously I imagine now that's why they were getting into such a barney and they were both booked.
Yeah. Well, if you're confused, listeners, that makes all of us, because what an absolute hog's dinner they made of it. What an absolute pig's snout.
Pig's breakfast.
It was a pig's breakfast. It was an absolute...
Horse's lunch.
Dog supper. What they've done there is Derek Adams has worn a white coat to a paintball fight. And so anyway, the game's got to happen again.
I would have loved it, if he'd slipped over in the mud. Because you're wearing a white coat. Once a friend of mine once turned up in Cornwall, and he turned up wearing all white T-shirt and white jeans, and then he slips over in the mud, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
And presumably he wasn't on his way to a cricket match.
No, he wasn't. No, we were just kind of just hanging out in Cornwall, and I think it's something that can be done. sartorially you can get away with all white, and not outside of a cricket situation. I don't think he was, even before he covered himself in brown.
If anyone's tempted, of course we can't condone this at all, but if anyone wants to, ponder if Derek Adams might turn up in that white coat again and might want to, I don't know, take a jam sandwich with him to the football match and accidentally, walk into him holding said jam sandwich. I can't condone that, but, it's probably the only sensible thing to do.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Derek, I spilt hot chocolate all down your back. Didn't mean to.
A friend of ours once famously went to the crepe stall in the middle of the Guildhall and ordered a crepe on a windy day, and they dispensed it on a paper plate. And I've never been so delighted as when the wind whipped it clean onto his clean white T-shirt.
Yeah, amazing.
Crepe everywhere.
Crepe could really catch the wind as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, really, really could. Anyway, so that game's got to happen again, which I think Bradford are particularly narked about. But it gives them a second chance. Of course, it'll be annoying if we don't win it, but I think we've...
Even sweeter when we beat them again. I can't wait. I know it's a bit annoying for pitch reasons and schedule reasons and stuff, but I love a bit of narrative. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I can't wait. It's going to be brilliant.
Of course, if we win, we then only have to wait a couple of days to play Cambridge away on the Saturday. So, yeah, anyway, we'll see what happens for that. Meanwhile, in the league, a couple of other things have happened.
Yeah, so Saturday we were at home again, weren't we?
Yeah, home again against Carlisle, the longest trip in the Football League calendar this year, while Argyle are separate.
Lowly Carlisle, not doing very well this season. We talked about that, didn't we, earlier on? And they got Keith Curl in charge, or they certainly did at the time.
No, that was Oldham, Dan. You're thinking of Keith Curl from the past.
Oh, God. Well, Keith Curl's been sacked anyway in other news, but I could have sworn he's at Carlisle. Oh, no,
he was previously, wasn't he? Yeah, that's right.
Karen Millen, wasn't it, at Oldham? Carlisle.
Karen Millen, yeah, that's right. Who was oscillating wildly, gesticulating wildly on the touchline. And their plan seemed to be permanent defence, didn't it?
It did, and it was a plan that was working pretty well because you had those real kind of close together banks of four sat really deep behind the ball, and it was working. And we didn't get much joy in those opening period of the first half, and you just think this is going to be a tough one. It really looked like it's going to be a tough day. Yeah. And I'm not sure too much happened really beforehand. I think Dawson they did get in behind us a couple of times because obviously they're inviting us on, and then they managed to get in behind. It's a good tactic. I imagine other teams would do it to us too. And then,
well, fortunately
for us, this guy, I don't know what his name is. Anyway, he got himself sent off for he lost the ball to Josh Key. And it's right down almost near kind of our corner flag, by the big bank, do you know what I mean? And it's stupid. You'd be so annoyed, but it's a proper what they call a striker's tackle, wasn't it? And he kind of dived back in, having lost the ball to Key. Or Collins was around there as well. I'm pretty sure it's Key that he fouls.
No, it was Collins he caught, wasn't it?
Studs up over the ball, just refs right there, sends him off.
Yeah,
and it lost them the game, but essentially.
Oh, it really did. It really did. That was just before half-time, wasn't it? And then, their fairly sensible tactic of solid defence and hoping to get a point or sneak in a winner fell before half-time had even reached. So City came out.
See, we're 20. We were 20 unbeaten at that point. We're obviously a good enough team that at home, if we were playing against 10 men, I was that was just we'll win now, and it would have taken a bit of a freak occurrence for us not to win that at that point, Yeah. But we didn't manage to score in the first half, but there's only a few minutes left, wasn't there?
That's right, yeah. And then we got to the second half, and then the groundsman came into play. Not the one you're thinking of, not Chaz or Chad or whatever his name is with his fork, but Jonathan Groundsman, who...
didn't make a change at half-time, but that was pretty soon after. And I remember saying, oh, here we go. Here's the attacking substitution we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
Jonathan Grounds has come on. But I was proved wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, he had I guess it was a shot or a pass from a long way out, and it was trickling in, and Nombe got the very slightest of touches, didn't he? And 1-0.
Yeah, Grounds just kind of drives it into the box, I think, doesn't he? I don't think he's shooting from there, is he? But anyway, it's kind of looks like it's on time. I mean, it's hard to say. It's only because Nombe sort of wheeled away, sort of pointing at himself, that we knew it's his. And you still can't really... I mean, it looks like, he gets the tiniest touches on it, take it past the keeper. And then, it was coming, wasn't it, at that point? So we got there.
It was coming, and then not long afterwards, with his first ever professional goal, just a couple of weeks after hitting the post and causing an own goal, it was Jake Caprice who got the second.
First goal in something like 380 odd matches or something.
Something like that. Now, what really showed, because it looked like a good finish, and you thought, oh yeah, he's obviously done that in training before, but what really showed was he had no idea how to celebrate.
No, I mean, you wouldn't, would you? Do you mean, like, you'd never done it before?
You've
seen other people do it, and then right at the last minute, so he had obviously a big old bundle because everyone's really pleased for him.
Yeah,
they all jumped on, and then he kind of started running back. But then he remembered that obviously he'd planned at some point, probably years ago, that he's going to do this kind of like. And I'm thinking it's kind of like a C shape with his hands. You know, maybe it's for Caprice.
Yeah,
could be for something else. Maybe his partner's name begins with a C.
Maybe Charlie Caprice.
Could be. Or his kids. Maybe he's got kids called that. Claire.
Yeah, so he did the old big C.
So let's assume he's got a kid called Claire, and he's... lots of people nowadays are calling their children Claire, I imagine. And he did that to the Big Bang, but he sort of like ran away. Then he like remembered it and ran back and did the little hand gesture.
Yeah, rubbish. Come on, Jake. For your second goal, which hopefully won't take us long this time, he... you're going to need to think about it more, mate. You know, Roger Miller style at the corner flag. He was in the right place for that, wasn't he? But anyway, we got the old weird C.
He did do a little dance with somebody, Brown or somebody. But that was kind of like. I mean, they've probably done that before when one of those guys have scored. You know, so he needed his own thing too. So he threw up that little sign. Anyway, it's good that he scored, isn't it? I mean, he deserved it. He's had a really good season.
Yes.
I know we'll kind of like maybe come across a bit contrary sometimes because I'm always going on about like just defending the people, not defending, but like kind of taking the opposite view because everyone was for a while was banging on about sort of how bad he was, really. Do you mean? And but he's been really good. You know, like he's been like. There's been several games where he's been clearly the best player on the pitch, and like I think it's paid off. And I'm pleased for him. He didn't even start that game, I don't think. He came on, didn't he?
Oh, I can't remember now.
I can't remember either. No, it was four at the back. It was four at the back. He had come on.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Colin Daniel started, didn't he? Then, just to round off that narrative, I thought we were coasting for a 2 or 3 or 4-0 win. Of course, we can't do that, so we managed to concede with about 5 minutes left and made it fairly nervous at the end.
Yeah, our old friend, who we'd forgotten about, Brennan Dickinson.
Yeah.
Such a good pass. Like, he crosses it from deep, but like he obviously spots his mate on like bombing down on the opposite side of the pitch, and Dickinson kind of curls it round like 4 of our defenders from deep, right into the gap between the defence and the keeper, to find his mate at the back post. Who, to be fair, I mean, probably Grounds should have seen him coming, and someone should have got to it. But, it didn't matter in the end. But a bit annoying to not have a clean sheet there, but still won.
We held on, didn't we, for 2-1.
And that put us up to second in the league.
It did put us up to second in the league. Now, Tuesday came, and it was Colchester away, the long old trip to Colchester. But we'll talk more about that in a second. Welcome back, where we're talking about Exeter City, as always. This is the Big Bang Theory podcast. You can get in touch with us in all the normal ways. We're on Twitter at Big Bang Pod. We're on Facebook, the Big Bang Theory podcast. And we're on email, bigbankpod@gmail.com as well.
It could just turn up at your house because that's where you're going to be for the next while.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, come on down and relieve the boredom.
But if you're thinking of burgling John's house, I wouldn't do it at the minute. Don't do it yet. Leave it for a bit, and then afterwards, to be honest, it might be a perfect time to do it because they'll be desperate to be out, So it'll definitely be empty in about a week's time.
Yeah, that's true.
Some nice stuff in there to nick.
Joke's on you, though, because you come in, you'll end up with COVID, probably.
Yeah, small price to pay if they're going to make off with that lampshade, I can see.
Yeah. Take it, please.
Worth it.
That would be worth it. The chandelier, you mean?
What else you got? PS4?
I got a PS4, not a PS5. So,
Still valuable.
I got a broad collection of Exeter City shirts. So, yeah. You can get in touch with us in all the normal ways and through the window of my house currently. We're talking about
Stand there waiting to ask you a question about Jonathan Grounds' hair or something,
If you want to hear my opinions on...
Speaking of hair, Alex Hartridge.
Yeah.
Hairband and bun.
Yeah.
Now, I'm starting to revise my opinion about whether or not I do want my daughter to go out with him.
Yeah. Presumably you call this kind of haircut a hair bund.
I think
your fictitious daughter needs to think again about her marital choices.
Possibly.
I obviously he's been brilliant, but he's not had his best two games, has he, Hartridge? And I think the same was true last night. So it was Colchester away at the, what's this one called? The JobServe Stadium, the JobServe Community Stadium, the JobServeCommunity.com Stadium.
About 20 different, parts of the name, hasn't it? And what a stadium it is. Absolute. I mean, nothing. The ground itself, I'm sure, is fine. But obviously, at some point, somebody has overestimated local residents' enthusiasm for watching their local team because there was nobody there.
Certainly no one visible on the old iFollow, was there?
There was at least 2 stands which were almost empty.
I'd say 3. I think everything we could see looked basically empty, didn't it?
But that was one of those was our supporters.
Yeah.
So that's not, and we had quite. I think there's 200 or so of ours. So that's good because it's miles away. It's a Tuesday night. But how far away do these people live from the Colchester ground? And more importantly, what other team do they support instead?
It's because it's an out of town one, isn't it? So it's a salient lesson against going out of town, I reckon.
Yeah, take note. Julian Tagg, whoever else thinks that might be a good idea.
Speaking of Tagg, do you know that he's livid?
Is he?
Livid, I'd imagine.
Because his scoreboard hasn't turned up yet.
Mainly because the Winter Wonderland up Northern Gardens is outshining his, LED advertising boards. And he's got advertisers on the phone saying, Julian, we'd love to advertise with you, but you promised us the brightest lights in town. And actually, that weird whizzy thing up Northern is going to
outshine us.
Yeah, sorry, Ju. Change of plan. The Winter Wonderland. We're going to advertise up the Winter Wonderland now because obviously just got better lights. Yeah.
Taggy hangs up and he's like, no, none of us can ever go to Shaw's Bakery again.
Annoyingly for him, if his scoreboard had turned up, it would completely obscure the Winter Wonderland from view. So I actually find it a little bit distracting seeing this kind of, neon fairground going around when I'm trying to watch a football match. And frankly, I think it should be banned.
I'm stood there looking at a helter-skelter. I'm not sure if it's going up or if it's going down. I'm not sure which way I feel about it. And then there's also the fairground in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very confusing time of year, Christmas.
Is it?
Can be.
Okay, fair enough. So, anyway, Colchester, People's JobServe Stadium Power Pension Community.com. It was, like we said, long old poke. And unfortunately, City looked like they'd left their travelling legs on.
We did. That's my main takeaway from the first half, actually, was like very low energy. Lackluster. Yeah.
I think that if you looked closely, George Ray still had his neck pillow on.
Yeah. I'm not going to jump to sort of wild conclusions straight away about how, because we were unbeaten, that we'd become complacent, and that was the exact reason why. And they were all just wandering around as if they'd already won the league. I just don't think that's how it works. These are just people doing their job. But we didn't look very good, and we definitely didn't look particularly enthusiastic. But it happens, doesn't it? You don't start believe. I mean, never mind the players starting to believe their own hype. We don't. The supporters need to stop. You know, we shouldn't be believing their hype either. We've been unbeaten in a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of 8 of those were draws, and a lot of people were moaning then. So it was always going to happen, you know.
Yeah, and it's football, isn't it? Like, no one goes unbeaten for more. I mean, 20 games is amazing, so it was always going to happen. A little bit disappointing that the way it happened. I mean, 2-0's probably a little unfortunate. I think 1-0 would have been about right at half time, and it felt like we switched off. We were just like, oh, it's basically half time, and then we conceded the second. And then second half.
The first half, we kind of had. I mean, it seemed like we had like a lot of possession. I think. I mean, you know, like we were getting. They didn't look like scoring, you know, and for any time other than when they did score, you know, like, which was twice annoyingly. But we weren't doing anything with the ball. Our crosses into the box weren't good enough. When we had set pieces, we wasted them. We didn't do enough with it. We didn't get enough service to the strikers, who also didn't do enough to get any service. Matt J, kind of anonymous in there. I mean, it's tough, but I do think the teams are going to start doing this to us, which is kind of what Carlisle tried to do until they had a player sent off, which is just, you know, sit back and wait to catch us on the break. Yeah. And I mean, I've been dreading the day when people find out that our centre backs are, you know, I mean, generously a bit slow.
Yeah. But, you know,
I don't want to slag on Hartridge too much, because, you know, he's a developing player, and I still have every confidence that he's going to be, you know, as good a player as maybe we've ever produced, potentially. But yeah, he can be sloppy with his passing here and there. But we got sprung a couple of times, didn't we? I mean, the first goal they scored, we just didn't close him down. He had 2 people in front of him. He shouldn't have been allowed to get the shot away. He just kind of hits it from outside the box, and it is a good shot, but we were given too much time in which to take it. So it is disappointing, the manner in which the defeat happened, and that it was against a team who really didn't look particularly good.
No, that's right. So 2-0 at half time was disappointing, because it probably should have been 1-0. And then we got a goal back, didn't we? Nombe. And it felt like, okay, we can still turn this round. We've got the energy, we've got the enthusiasm, we've got the positivity from all those wins and all those unbeaten games. Bit of a goal scramble. Sorry, it wasn't Nombe at all, it was Amond.
It was Amond, yeah. First league goal.
First league goal for Exeter City. Excellent.
Came on for George Ray just after half time. Kind of switched. That's when we switched things from that 5 at the back thing back to a more 4-4-2, I think.
Yeah, and then there was a second goal, which was Nombe, and the linesman flagged it offside. Nombe put it away beautifully. Now, obviously, we're watching it on iFollow, and there's no lines drawn on the pitch. It did look to me like it was Amond that was offside, not interfering, and Nombe was onside. And it also looks like the supporters that were in the ground felt the same. But
Matt Taylor literally said in his interview after the match, he said we had a goal ruled out that shouldn't have been. So he firmly believed it. And I think the thing is with those ones like that, when you've got one player offside and another one who's probably close but not, Nombe probably wasn't offside, but because Amon definitely was, those linesmen just going to flag just to be on the safe side, because I think it's the better way round for them in terms of afterwards. If they get that decision wrong, that's the better way round. If they, because then they can go like, well, one of them definitely was offside. I just got, you know, I couldn't tell which one it was. You know, whereas they give the goal, and if it is offside, I don't know. I think that reflects worse on them. Obviously, it's the same mistake, but it's annoying. That's a shame, because you can't. I mean, who knows? I mean, after that happened, we conceded another goal. So there's nothing to suggest that if that goal had stood, that Colchester would have just scored a third straight away afterwards. Nothing at all. In fact, so.
But yeah, disappointing. But then we made it very difficult for ourselves conceding those two in the first half.
Everyone knew that was done at 3-1, didn't they, as well? But yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. 2-0 at half time. It was your mountain to climb, as they say.
Yeah.
The commentator kept calling him Timothy Deng.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. That's not his name.
Does he know something we don't?
I don't think so.
Like I don't know. I mean, the way the Big Bank sings his name to the tune of Belinda Carlisle's "Heaven Is a Place on Earth," would suggest it's Dieng, like real emphasis on the E. But I don't think it's Deng, is it?
Well, we could ask him. I don't know.
Like really trying to do a French, maybe it isn't. He's like really trying to kind of like go like, oh, Timothy Ding. But I don't think, but then don't. It wasn't the best commentary team, was it? I'll tell you what though, Colchester's commentary is great. I switched over for that for the last 10.
Oh, was it?
So because of the Deng, but also because they kept saying recycled possession. It's like, all right, I get it. You've learnt this term that means a turnover in play or whatever. It just annoyed me. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it any better. I'd say more annoying things than anyone's ever said. But I'm saying this now.
You are saying this now. So that was 3-1, wasn't it? Which, let's do the league table. Still leaves us in second. There were some other results that Port Vale have fallen off a cliff a bit. In terms of form. So we've played 18 games, which is more than the two teams around us. Forest Green are top, 37 points, played 17. We're second, 32 points, played 18. Swindon in third, played 17, also on 32 points. Then Northampton, Port Vale, Harrogate, Sutton, Orient, Newport have all played 18. Northampton in fourth on 31. Port Vale, Harrogate, Sutton, they've all got 29 points. And then Leyton Orient in 8th, they've got 28 points. So we're still, I mean, we've done a lot of hard work to get here. So it's not going to just, those results we've got in the last few games has really helped us push up the league.
So we're pretty much at halfway now, yeah?
18 games played. We play 46 in total. So we're getting towards halfway.
Nearly at halfway. I mean, look at the other teams in this division this season, and the ones the ones we haven't played, and the ones we already have. I think this is a season where, if we don't finish in the playoff places, that is going to be a big kind of missed opportunity, because I don't think it's a strong league this year.
No, I agree. I mean, I would go further than that. I would think we've got ourselves in this good position at this point in the season. We now play our closest rivals in the next few weeks. Forest Green, Port Vale, Northampton, etc. We should be thinking automatic. No, we might not win the thing, but we should be thinking automatics is very achievable.
We've said it before, didn't we? Like you say, we are about to enter into a kind of... We've been looking at December and thinking it looked not tricky, but it does look like the point where we're playing teams, better teams.
Yeah.
And it's a bit disappointing that we've gone into that on a loss, but considering the results before, it's fine, isn't it? And it does all. Ultimately, this Colchester match doesn't matter. This loss against Colchester, what matters is how we get on against those other teams in December. Bear in mind, that's Forest. We're playing Forest Green away on the 29th, and that's them done. Then, I mean, we've played them both legs, so we've already got. It was 0-0 at home, start of the season. So that is then that's our head as far as head to head goes. That's that done after that game's done. So got to try and get those results, and then we'll be able to assess, I think, a bit more. How we can kind of predict the rest of the season to go. I mean, anything can happen still, can't we? We could still get relegated.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get relegated, but we've got us. No, I feel confident enough to say that now. I think we've got ourselves in a really good position to attack December, as it were. And it's funny old thing, isn't it, that Bradford game? But I don't think that did us any harm, actually. Weirdly, I know it's another game we've got to play on Tuesday, and obviously if someone gets injured or something bad happens in that game. But I
think, what do you think for like team spirit and whatnot? It's quite.
Yeah, I think it was a fun game for them to play. Like good. To
yeah, I think that's what I mean by a bit of narrative, Jim, as well. It's a little bit of kind of like it's more something to kind of like get your teeth into, a kind of bit of a motivator or whatever, and like. Yeah, I agree. And also, I'm just thinking now, that, to be honest, maybe it's better that we kind of lost this Colchester match rather than we're beating everyone until it gets to these, teams that are expected to be up and around near us or are around us now, and then we start losing to them. Maybe it's better to get get the unbeaten run thing, that kind of thing off your back before we go into this run of games against kind of like the top, or these more difficult matches.
Yeah, I indeed, it could well be beneficial in the long run. If we go and put together another good run of 5 or 6 wins in 10 games, we'll be well pleased with that.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so it's a busy period of time, isn't it? This Saturday we've got Rochdale away, then it's the replay, Bradford, the replay, I should say, Bradford at home, and then if we win that. It's Cambridge away in the second round of the FA Cup. So it's chock-a-block. And then there's a Tuesday game the following, Tuesday at home. I think that's Northampton at home, isn't it?
If we lose to Bradford in the replay, then we have no game on that Saturday.
Yeah. So it's funny, I wouldn't like to say either way what I want to happen. Obviously, the ultimate aim is third round and a nice tie.
Yeah, of course. I never want to get knocked out. I never want to lose any game or anything like that. But I think it's just a bit of a kind of... It almost is not win-win, but we kind of... If we go through, great. Then we've got to beat Cambridge away. And then if we don't, then we get... They get that extra... They get an entire week then in a busy period and ahead of a busy period too. Just, have a bit of a break. Maybe go to... the Northern Hay Gardens Winter Wonderland with their families.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the players. I mean, the supporters could go there too instead of going to a Exeter City match. I mean, I won't be because that kind of fun is not my kind of fun, No? I had some candy floss at the Devon County show when I was about 6, and it was annoying, and I've never had any since.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. So coming up, it's Rochdale this Saturday. They drew with Stevenage last night. Stevenage are a bit rejuvenated, aren't they? I'm pleased to see Jake Taylor doing well.
Well, that's the only reason I'm at all pleased for Stevenage, because other than that, I got no time for them at all.
No, it was just Dyer, wasn't it? So I'm pleased.
Yeah. I'm pleased he's not just like having a bad time,
No. So that's that. They drew with Stevenage on Tuesday night, and they drew with Walsall at the weekend. So they've had quite a lot of draws actually. Although they beat Notts County in the cup, I think. So yeah, it's they're 13th in the league at the minute. They're not a team in form, but they're also not a disaster zone either.
It's a similar kind of match to the Colchester one, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Did you say it's away?
Yeah, away.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay.
So that's coming up.
Have they got anyone?
Yeah, they got 11 someones, but no one of particular note.
Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams?
He used to play for Port Vale, didn't he? Oh, we're not playing there, Rochdale.
Rochdale.
Oh, the Chuckle Brothers.
No, that's Rotherham. You're all over the place. But I tell you what, they've got Argyle in the FA Cup, actually, in the second round.
Have they?
Yes. They've got, obviously, another awfully named stadium.
It's
Crown Oil Arena.
What's Crown Oil? Crown Paint?
I don't know what it is.
Has Crown Paint started doing oil, or is this just like literally the Queen's oil company?
No, I think it's oil for your crown. Need a crown oiling? Get Crown Oil.
Oh right. I mean, how often do crowns need oiling? I mean, they haven't really got any moving parts, have they?
Depends how posh your crown is, I suppose.
Rotating jewel on the top. Right, here you go. Here's a couple of, according to Google, the celebrity Rochdale fans are...
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah.
Tommy Cannon.
Oh yeah.
Of comedy duo Cannon and Ball.
Yeah.
And Lisa Stansfield.
Oh yeah, of course, Lisa. Yeah, okay.
That's it. That's poor, isn't it?
Do you know who their manager is?
Tell me.
Robbie Stockdale.
Robbie Stockdale?
Do you remember him?
No.
Played for Middlesbrough for a couple of years in the Premier League.
David Stockdale.
Oh yeah, that was that goalkeeper we saw, wasn't it? No, Robbie Stockdale was a Middlesbrough player back in the day. No, you don't remember him?
No, I don't remember him. Is he nice?
I don't know him. I don't know the lad. I wish him well, except not on Saturday.
Yeah. Rochdale, they're just kind of like... I don't know anything about... I mean, I don't know how long they've been in League Two. Did they get relegated last season? Did they get promoted last season? I have no idea. I mean, they're just
They came down last year, didn't they?
Maybe people think the same about Exeter, but it's just one of those teams where I just think, like, I don't know. I can't bring myself to care. And no one's asking me to. No one has asked me to care about Rochdale, so it's fine.
They've done the old... their manager was Keith Thingy, whose name I've forgotten now, who got them up... No, not Keith Lemon. He got them up and down a bit. Yes, they came down last year. They went up.
They're also their shirts are sponsored by Crown Oil as well.
Must be the big thing. Yeah, there we are. So if you go in, it's a fair old drive for any.
Where is it?
It's kind of Lancashire way, Manchester, I think. Yeah, so if you go in, have a lovely time. Hopefully the City boys can bring you back some points. Hopefully it's better than last night, which I don't think was much fun.
We want to bounce back from this, don't we? It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold, mind you. Yeah. Because it always is around this time of the year.
True. It's called winter, I suppose.
Yeah. But when's this global warming thing going to happen? When's it going to be sunny in December? That's what we all want. That's why I'm buying Crown Oil.
Yeah, that's why you're putting Crown Oil on toast.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to just keep drilling for that Crown Oil, please, because we're sick of the cold.
Have you ever flambéed toast?
No. I've never had a reason to. Although my grill doesn't work, so maybe it's something for the future. If my I have got a toaster too, but if that ever packs up, then I might have to flambe it.
It's like when people double batter chips. It's like that. It's like flambeing toast. You've toasted your toast.
Yeah, or battered toast.
Battered toast. That's the thing you could bring in.
Yeah. I mean, you could always just like fry... I mean, you could sort of dry fry bread, can't you? And that's sort of like toast-ish.
Yeah.
It kind of toast. You just dry fry it.
Yeah.
Just, chuck a bit of bread in a pan and turn on the hob. And, hey presto... You've just made toast. You just invented toast.
Yeah. I wonder who did invent toast.
Some legend.
Yeah. If you invented toast, get in touch with us in all the normal ways and let us know how it felt.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it probably is one of the listeners that's done it.
Well, we've got such a wide listenership, I don't doubt it. And I believe in our listeners, Dan. I believe in them. I believe that they can invent wild and brilliant things.
The chances of any of our listeners getting in touch to tell us that, with any kind of degree of authenticity that they invented toast, how about they get in touch with us? Just let us know anything that you did invent. And just let us know, what have you invented? Maybe it's something we could invest in, or some product where I didn't realise was associated with an Exeter City fan, which I could then, maybe you invented, I don't know, spray oil, and I should something that I never buy, but if I realise it's by one of the Grecians, maybe I'll switch over to
get into it
to spray oil. But I think we should. There should be some conditions on this. So if you just come up with some idea, but you haven't done anything about it, then don't worry about it. We don't need to hear about that. I've got hundreds of those. But you have to have done something about it. Like, not necessarily like as in shops or you've taken it on Dragon's Den, but you have to have made some headway.
Yeah, okay. Let us know if that's you. When I was a kid, my mum and dad were getting double glazing done, and I really wanted them to get ALC windows. So sponsorship obviously works, because I was like, oh, that's Exeter City windows. And I think maybe even they had a advert. Am I making this up? There was definitely some reason beyond just the actual, their names were on the shirt, where I wanted ALC
Well, that
windows.
would have been enough, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I've got a feeling there was a shirt in it for me or something, but I never got it.
I went to sort of the hospitality in the old grandstand back in the era of ALC windows being Exeter's shirt sponsor. Through them, my dad had done some sort of dealings with ALC windows in some capacity, so we got to go along, and it's like in the old grandstand, the kind of like hospitality bit, and it was like so good in there. It was like, plenty of people I'm sure went in it, but it was like proper, just like an old social club down there, doing so old fashioned, like stank of like stale beer and fags, and like it was amazing. There's a little buffet, and they gave me the match. Like, I think the people who sponsored the match on that day, they get a signed sort of Exeter City ball, and and me and my brothers being the only kids there, they just gave it to us. So I've got this signed City ball somewhere at my parents' house.
You lucky devil.
It's a lovely old time.
I don't know if I can ever trust a double glazing company. You can see right through them.
Yeah. Well, I thought you were going to say because they are notoriously shifty. Because they are. If you work for a double glazing company and you're not shifty, then sorry.
We apologise. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Sorry we've insulted your trade. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.